career over a year ago in the bowl game, the Cotton Bowl against Missouri, and he is throwing on the move, a long throw, and a lot changing on the offensive line, certainly a quarterback, on the defense, all over the place.
Where you're protected in pass pro.
Here's Keenholz, a long throw, and that zips through the hands. This man stepping right into those shoes.
Yeah, man that needs no introduction. Stands right now, so whoever's under center, plenty of weapons to distribute to.
And Tyvus is going to talk with Emeka coming up. That is Joe McGuire back again to punt for the Buckeyes. We'll see some Jaden Fielding today. The second-year man who had some light opportunity last year takes over, and he throws complete to C.J. Donaldson, the transfer.
There's been a ton of buzz around saying, and really when you look at Sayin and Keenholz, these are two really different quarterbacks. Julian Sayin is more of your prototypical pocket passer. He's listed at 6'1". Seeing him at practice yesterday, 5'11", 6 foot seems a little bit more reasonable to me. But that's what he does.
Well, that was to Mylan Graham, the sophomore, trying to add some depth. That ball is batted and still caught by Brandon Innes. Some pistol here for C.J. Donaldson. And of course the
run game at Ohio State, it's often been based out of the pistol. Downhill, get the ball to your backs, and there we go. Nice job finding your tight end, a little corner out.
Jelani Thurman.
Tight end group. How about the depth of this group of Jelani Thurman and company, Max Clare. Jake, I know you love this route, a little play action. Corner out, settles in the zone, perfect throw, throttles him down, and away you go. And this is the arm talent of Julian Sayin, and knowing what the defense is doing out in front of you.
They get him to play action and open it up for Jelani Thurman.
Back to the ground, C.J. Donaldson, big hole, and he finally gets cut down in the secondary.
Phillip Daniels transferring in from Minnesota.
Sayin, end zone shot, and it's broken up by Aaron Scott Jr. He came in with so much
hand-to-hand combat. I like it right there. Guys just battling defense is saying it's clean. Offense is saying make that play.
Sam Williams-Dixon will get his first carry. They're happy to have him
everywhere, but they're here to compete in Columbus.
Sayin throws that complete to Max LeBlanc, the tight end, alone at the top of the screen. And Sayin is looking that way again, and this time he's able to lose the defender who slips and falls. That was Scott, but they can't connect for the touchdown.
It was a great job by Mylan Graham. I mean, he cooked Scott on the release and was wide open. This is something we saw at practice. They were working these fade routes down in the end zone because they have such physically gifted and talented receivers. It's just a little off.
Give him the opportunity.
Back to the ground. Donaldson into the lane. Touchdown, Scarlet.
It's a great drive.
Watching that, I felt like I was watching Ohio State, Tennessee in the first round of the playoff.
Against the #1 defense again, and Brian Hartline, by the way, will be on the field for the second half calling plays. Max Clare, nearly a spectacular back shoulder cover there, coming from a man who won the Mackey, and you're on the board for them.
On the board, so I'm starting the way for Max Clare.
He was the
practice, meetings, preparation, and it's really elevated and set the standard for the new faces. Players thinking, then understanding those little nuances of the craft.
That's Carnell Tate, and it's Julian Sayin getting his opportunity.
The culture in this Buckeye receiver room is as good as you'll find in college football.
Sayin steps up, and there is Tate with the reception, beating Benosin, and he has touched.
He's transformed his body too. He's lost about 30 pounds since getting on campus. You know, there's some.
But said, no, I want to be part of this program, but haven't played a ton of snaps. We see a little seam route. Back to tight end.
And there is Max Clare's first touchdown as a Buckeye in front of fans.
He gets lost there too, doesn't get carried in zone coverage. They play that too high that you referenced. Really impressive. There he is right there, lined up number 86. Nice job on the release, doesn't get touched right inside. Sonny Styles, linebacker, doesn't get depth.
Have to have safety coverage and help because of the talent Ohio State has at the wide receiver position.
I think we're going to be seeing a lot of that this season.
Lincoln Keenholz back out for his second series. This time he gets his first
catches. Cade Stover had the most in 23 with 41 grabs. I think it's over 50 easy for this young man. He's so gifted, and I think it's going to be such a challenge for defense.
A really long time. The more they can get involved in the run game, the more they'll be able to open up in the pass game and play action like on that touchdown.
And we just saw
men here that I'm going up against.
And there he is making the catch. Keenholt's trying to load up, and now he's pressured into a scramble. Let's go down.
We might need to race today to see if I still got it. Give us a young guy. You've obviously been in this wide receiver room for many, many years. Give us a young guy that maybe the world doesn't know about that we should keep an eye on.
Can I make another bold claim here?
Bring it.
I think Ohio State has the most athletic linebacker room in college football between Styles and Arvell Reese.
That is necessary to thrive in this program. Got that this offseason. I just love how he carries himself.
There's Max Clare out in the flat. Is it safe to say for defensive lineman? Of course, the guy that wore the Blocko, the 0 at linebacker, the captain, Cody Simon. That's part of this too, leadership. Keenholt's to throw here on 3rd down. And he loops that over the head of Smith, incomplete.
First, thank you, G, for letting us see your rings.
Amazing. The official confetti inside the direct traffic here. And with defender bearing down on him, he dumps it down to Bo Jackson, our first look
for Ohio State. But he's talking about how he does everything well. He comes to work with such a focus. He'll have a big role this year on this defense.
Some pressure there for Stan, who eventually has to toss it low. It is interesting, right? For all of the new faces, most of them are in-house or high school.
Downs and Will Howard. Logan George is one of those guys helping reload the defensive line.
That cut loose and snagged by Mylan Graham. He had a couple opportunities in the end zone.
Edges, got to climb the pocket, sit in the pocket, and then deliver an absolute dime. Only spot that ball could go. And then the catch in coverage, to your point, guy.
That's saying at his best, though. Tight spiral, beautiful quick release, accurate.
And another one to the tight end, Jelani.
Mylan Graham was a ripped-in, dart, accurate. The one to Thurman is a little bit more of a
running back. And it's good to see him healthy and forcing his way into the end zone for a Scarlet.
Job to lose. Ryan Day is calling this a neck-and-neck battle. But so far, Sayin is having
quarterbacks. Think back to the Eagles with Mark Sanchez and Sam Bradford, or here at his time at Ohio State with Justin Fields.
He comes into Ohio State. He comes in with so much of the same hype that all of his predecessors have had, maybe more. Sam Williams-Dixon.
He's going to learn it and pour himself into it. And now he's finally here, dream achieved. He knows he's got a lot of work to do.
The prospect that he was ultimately before he stepped on campus. Ooh, that's a Fahim throws an interception there to another freshman.
That's right, freshman to freshman, and Delane, who's talked so much about how much he loves to hit.
Is on Delane there, who just read Tavion's eyes and was able to pick the ball off.
Keenholtz will give it off to Bo Jackson, who steps through a couple tackles and a third. A flag comes in. Jackson breaks through another tackle. His senior year, luckily no surgery was required. That ball cut loose at another catch for Mylan Graham.
Coach referenced that earlier this spring. Nice job with the eyes there, a little RPO. Where's the overhang defender? It's an easy read for Keenholtz. Delivers us.
Last year, so all season it just felt like he was drinking out of a fire hose. Said coming into this offseason, the game has slowed down a little bit, and clearly talented.
Now, once upon a time, Will Howard was not, and of course developed into one of the national champion. And what you're replacing here, as Keenholtz connects, is 4,000 passing yards, 35 passing touchdowns, and Will Howard.
And, you know, a lot of love. And that's what I see when I look at these things.
You know, when you left this quarterback room, obviously there's some young guys out there, but you know these guys because you did a season with them. What should we expect to see out of this quarterback?
I had so much fun at it, and it was a little redemption story against Oregon too. So, you know, I'd love to say all of them, but, you know, the Tennessee was cool too because it was here in the shoe.
Man, Brandon Ennis.
You going to give him the ring back? That's the real question. Keep an eye on that. Nice pass breakup there from Jalen McClain, part of that safety battle with Malik Hartford. Jalen McClain, one of 2 players on this defense whose dads played for Matt Patricia at Syracuse. Matt Patricia was the weight room volunteer assistant when Jalen's dad, Maurice, was at Syracuse. That's a great play.
Opposing players on the field. So technically, for Jalen McClain getting in there, that's a big tight end and a great breakup.
Delay a game. Offense number 3. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
And 14 games away from passing Urban Meyer on Ohio State's.
Rightfully got the big extension. Will be here hopefully for the remainder of his coaching career. And I think he's one of the greater coaches, you know, in all, not only college football now,
but as well as anybody. Ryan Day now getting that that title of a national champion head coach.
We still have a ton of talent. I think that's why it's been one of the most physical springs that Ryan Day has overseen in his time as the head coach.
But it's not what he planned to do.
The other side of that is a receptive roster to that physicality. I mean, Ryan Day, you talk about all the young, talented guys. They want practice to be
of this first half for Tavian St. Clair. And a flag, some movement up front.
And not just for Tavian St. Clair guy, but for also Brian Hartline. I mean, these situations, and for Matt Patricia, like how you're calling 2-minute situations. And again, it's pretty vanilla.
Offense, 5-yard penalty, still first down.
If you're wondering who writes the spring game rules, by the way, it's Ryan Day. Here's Tavian St. Clair breaking out. And he gets...
How do we replace? We're going to stay with the same scheme, but we need to get elite teachers.
There's St. Clair. That cut loose and incomplete coverage that time. 3rd down and long for St. Clair. Down the sideline and incomplete. Intended for David Adolph.
And a lot of college programs.
Joe McGuire to send it away to Brandon Innes. So 38 seconds and
championship. And it might have taken a little longer than what he would have liked to get there, but doesn't take away at all from how special that season was.
Julian Saint gets it in, number 8 overall player in this class, and has made a push for playing time so far in camp this year.
He's operating really comfortable right now.
Saying again, and his receiver fell down, and that was
at Bergen Catholic out in New Jersey. So I've heard about him for a few years now. My uncle said this guy's going to be an absolute star and a stud. And there's good blocking too as the screen. And
it's halftime.
Well,
Scott didn't like it, but
because that gets you kicked out of the game.
That'll get you. There you go.
That'll be attended to. And we got halftime. Quincy Porter
to a 4K, and I got through it. It was not the easiest thing in the world, but crossing that finish line at the end, you truly, I got like 20 to 30 pounds to lose.
Lincoln Kienholz hands it off here to Bo Jackson. This will be a 12-minute 3rd quarter with the clock up to Ryan Day. Mylan Graham off and running and gone for a touchdown.
It's an embarrassment of riches in this Buckeye wide receiver room. I think their second unit, which is led by Mylan Graham today, would start at the majority of schools across the country. And Mylan Graham, a young sophomore, clearly sky-high limit, generating a ton of buzz this spring and really putting a stamp on this spring ball with his performance today so far.
Playing wide out in between the hashes is not for the faint of heart. After the catch there against Malik Hartford, one of the guys competing to be one of the starting safeties. Nice little move.
Added weight or lost weight, depending on what they need. It's a credit to the strength staff.
There you saw offensive coordinator Brian Hartline now on the sideline as Philip
some of these young freshmen that are early enrollees. So depending on when you get on campus is a big piece.
Part of what matters so much is where the depth is on the offensive line. I mean, it's incredible to win a national championship as they did last year.
They bring in Tyler Bowen, who was the play caller over at Virginia Tech. He's the head offensive line coach. I think that might be an interception
by Inky Jones. The pressure was there from Aaron.
Valuable for their development.
Julian Sayin at quarterback with the flip to Sam Williams-Dixon. And closing quickly to make that tackle is Riley Pettyjohn. And to talk more about the defense.
You've talked a lot about playing the offensive side of the ball. We know that you're a dynamic punt returner. Is this the year that we see you get some carries?
I mean, that's not up to me. That's up to Coach Day and them on the offensive side. But, I mean, I'm going to just do my job, and whatever they ask me to do, I'll do it at the highest level I can.
Sounds good. Now, when you think about this upcoming season, obviously a lot of people say that you're one of the best defensive players. What is something that you're looking to improve upon this season?
In the league so long, so it's a great chance for me to see what that league does and everything that they do. And I've taken advantage of it, and I will continue to
do everything. I think he's the most dominant player on defense in America. I think he was drafted today. He'd be a top 5 pick. I mean, he's that special. And when you have the best player on defense in the country on your team, and you have to replace
him and Jeremiah Smith both competing for that trophy.
Julian Sayin taking another shot, and it is broken up. What a play from Lorenzo Stiles Jr. against Mylan Graham, the guy who's been the most productive receiver today. You know that Caleb Downs is going to love that.
Where the eyes are of the wide receiver, then playing through the hands to get the incompletion.
Just to add too, understanding situations. It was 3rd and 17. Milan, they put Milan on a double move, and Lorenzo
working on the little nuances of hand placement, working through a block. I think we'll just see tremendous growth.
They would love, Ohio State would love to see an Abdul Carter type jump going from linebacker to edge.
Well, that throw uncorked and on the money from St. Clair. Coming off the right edge is Zion Grady, the freshman pass rusher, another catch.
Every school in the Big Ten and be an elite player for them. Those guys chose to come to Ohio State as we see some of that dual threat potential.
He experienced 4 games being around this veteran roster. I think it's one of the unsung storylines. There you see it again. What a shot from St. Clair again, back to Porter.
It's a really nice route too. I mean, clearly they're excited about him with how they're targeting him. Win at the line of scrimmage. Quincy Porter 6'4", so the ball is in a great location up top for him to go make that play.
Quarterback. A moment there over on the bench. I hope that he's all right. And that play is blown up immediately by Joey Velasquez. Sam Williams-Dixon back in at running back now. St. Clair, plenty of time and on the move. And he'll tuck it and run, closing out on him. That a defensive line.
As a former 5-star, I think he has a chance to be really, really special. But again, it's the depth behind those guys that'll be key.
Pressure up the middle that time from the walk-on. A long try of 43 yards, and he got it. And that's great to see. You think about the year that he had last year, missed a couple of games.
About this program.
He said this week his confidence is 10 times higher than it was last year. Wow. Great second effort there from Bo Jackson. That looked like it was.
It's okay if you don't come out and drill Texas or even win the game. It's all good. It's a long season, but you find out reality real fast.
Indiana, Iowa, Maryland, no Nebraska on the schedule this year.
It's also how they train them. You have a primary position, you have a secondary position. I think it's going to be great for this offensive front as they have to go through a long season. They said, hey, we come back, we win the national championship, and then we have our first team meeting. And you remember that from a player. You get it.
And Kienholz will give it, and the line creates plenty of space for Bo Jackson, off and racing, before he's finally pulled down by Malik Hartford.
This interior, go ahead, Jake. This interior defense or offensive line is so impressive. Watch that group right there as the play unfolds.
There's your left tackle too, Onyanwa, the transfer. He's been behind some key blocks. The tight ends mixing it up as well. The guys are going to run it, and yet they could not stop it. We've seen some nice holes open up.
Offense number 3, 5-yard penalty, first down.
The offensive line is physical, and
I come here and continue to develop. Play action.
And the touch to LeBlanc, who's got a first down, and a block out in front from Quincy Porter. Good to see Porter. Kienholz wide open out of the backfield. The running back Williams-Dixon with the touchdown.
What's my indicator? Watch his eyes. He knows from jump. It's man-to-man coverage. Who's on the back? He's going to beat the backer. No problem. Easy pitch.
Yeah, the extra point good. Right now,
biggest things me and Coach Hartline talked about. That's one of the biggest things I want me to improve on, just getting a better understanding of football, and yeah, that's one of the things for sure.
And you losing a guy like a Mecca Ibuka, now you're how does it feel to try to block out that noise?
I mean, I think I do a pretty good job at it. Just blocking out all the things people say about me, all the distractions.
There's not enough time in the day, so.
Little play action, St. Clair, and it's snagged by the freshman Nate Roberts for a big gain.
How about Dave? Coaching the quarterbacks, Will Howard raved about him a year ago. Chip Kelly goes to the Raiders. Billy gets elevated, coaching the QBs now, and a huge part of this position, as we all know, is above the shoulders. And at some point in your career, you defensive line, they can see coverage, they can see rotation a little better. You're up in the booth, and you might as well be on an island. You can't hear anything, you can't feel anything.
They've had, but each quarterback in first, second, third unit, the ball has been spread around to a number of different weapons.
Carnell Tate said it. He said, well, Coach Hartline's got the keys now, so that means more balls for us.
Competition could be seen as me versus you, who wins that rep. But here, it's we are going to make each other better because we know Jeremiah Smith, I'm the best receiver in America. And on the other side, Caleb Downs, I'm the best DB in America. We get to battle every single day.
Offense, number 74.
Freshman receivers from Ontario High School an hour away getting an opportunity, played defense and quarterback in high school. What a great story he is. Tavian St. Clair looking the other way, and that's through the hands of Dorian Williams. But take
as many of BP Millers as you can.
That's right. St. Clair pressured into a sack. A flag comes in as well.
That's one of just a handful.
It's been really vanilla defensively, but you're right. On this offensive line, they've held up in their one-on-ones for the most part. Defensively, you're finding out, can we match you strength for strength, speed for speed? So that element has been fun to watch on the line of scrimmage throughout this afternoon.
Perfect day for Jaden Fielding, by the way. Same operation for.
We've got all of our timeouts, 1:10 left. He probably changed the score up a little bit and gave him a certain situation to try to master here in the final portion of this game.
Been a good day for Julian Sayin so far, and he completes the first play of this drive to Quincy Porter.
You know, 9-10 to me all day long watching him operate.
Pressure coming up the middle from Logan George, and a big sack for the Idaho State transfer.
To Yogi, that was a stunt.
Back to do. I mean, Will Howard learned the lesson when they were on the road at Oregon. He said it was one of the greatest things that he learned as a quarterback in his entire career. Look what he did from that moment on.
Sayin into traffic, was moving deftly in the pocket, couldn't connect it with Max LeBlanc.
Now, great pass rush by the game.
So now 3rd and 22, 29 seconds remaining. Sayin trying to set up the screen. Defensive line recognized it, and then LeBlanc unable to hold on.
The line is coming off the ball.
See where he goes with this. Quincy Porter down at the bottom of your screen.
Sayin, deep drop pressure, and the second sack of the series for Logan George. Don't forget Bo Jackson in there at running back. The defense really stepped up to the challenge in that 2-minute opportunity. Here's Phillip Bell getting out of bounds at the 14-yard line.
Great job by Bell, freshman from Mission Viejo, California. Out route, again, knowing the time, what the clock is. Don't try to dance and cut back. Keep an eye on him.
1st and goal. St. Clair looking that way, and instead it is Phillip Bell with the catch. He beats Fahim Delane, freshman to freshman, beating a freshman for the score.
Great location, too.
That is the end of the 4th quarter. That is the end of the game.
50 points.